Well, good morning. I'm not sure how this audio will sound. I've got the Saturday morning cartoons running, but I wanted to just start off with a little bit of introduction. Possibility Me, 2019. We're in day 5. Pretty soon I'm not going to be able to keep up with the number of days we're in, but I wanted to share a little bit about my journey and about what's probable is certainly not what we're headed towards. We're headed towards what's possible. And it's not a journey of self-improvement. It's a journey of self-discovery, knowing who we actually are, who we were made to. Well, we got a little interruption there. So it's not knowing. It's about letting our light shine. So we have been given a light by God, and we are amazing. We don't have to work hard on that, but we might have to work hard on remembering the stuff we've picked up along the way about who we think we are. That really isn't necessarily so. Mark Twain once said, it ain't what's so that gets you in trouble. It's what ain't necessarily so that you believe is true. Oh man, I'm going to have to write that quote down. But anyways, my goal is to be here every day. I've chosen to take Sundays off. On Saturdays, I'm going to go a little longer during the week. I'll have my post up with a little 3 to 5 minute thought for the day. Definitely a question to ponder, and then on Saturdays we'll go live at 9:30. I'll be live every day, but those messages may be early. But on Saturday we'll go live at 9:30. And if you have comments, please, I need your comments. I need your feedback. But here's something that Facebook did to me today, and well, God, on January 5th, 2010. I saw this quote. It says, "Love's helping people out. Problem solving and big ideas are my mainstay. Now if I can just find the right career that puts that to use." That was me, I guess 9 years ago. And it is so true. I mean, that is who I am. Problem solving, big ideas, and it's a part of who I am. I don't need a career. I can just be that person. That's who I am day to day. And so that's why I'm here. I want to help myself and help each other as we move forward. Because even though the future may seem far away, it's actually beginning right now. And 2019 is an opportunity to make your dreams come true because you finally discovered who you are inside. Yesterday we talked a little bit about what are the components of the journey that you'll need before you leave port. I'm a sailor. I was in the Navy for 10 years, and I wanted to make sure that everyone understands this is a journey we're on. There is no arrival of the destination, but we do need to leave port. A quote I shared earlier was that, ships are safe at harbor, but that's not what ships were made for. So if we're going to get out on the journey to live our life fully, we need to risk being at sea. Certainly there are calm days and days when the winds are perfect, but that doesn't seem to be every day. There are a lot of storms in life, and I've certainly had mine, and I'm going to assume you've had yours too. Yesterday I asked a question, so what are the pieces that you need to work on while you're in port? Because I'm going to say that this journey is going to take a couple phases. We're going to have the preparation phase before we leave port. We're going to actually get underway, which doesn't mean we're not going to do any work in phase 1. We're going to do a lot of work in phase 1. We have to be prepared to leave port. But then when we're out there are things we're going to be doing on the journey. And then as we get closer, that's kind of the phase 3. Then how do we assess? How do we test? How do we measure? How do we know that we're on the right track? So those are all kind of pieces of the journey as I see them, at least for 2019, as I look down my life. And if you have ideas, certainly put those in. What are the things we need to do? So in port, there are pieces of your ship's journey that you'll need. You'll certainly need supplies. You'll need finances. You'll need friends. I mean, who's going to be on the boat with you? They have their own journey. This is where it's kind of metaphysical. We're going to need God. What's our relationship with Him? So there's just lots of pieces. But one of the things you're definitely going to need is a ship. Now that may seem self-intuitive, like well, I'm the ship. Yeah, but am I seaworthy? And that's what I realized as I came into 2019. I was not. I was no longer seaworthy. The person that I'd become had so many holes that it would be next to impossible. It would be setting myself up for failure to journey out there into the ocean, and that's what's happened. I've floundered, I've sunk, and then I've had to be rescued and brought back to port, and never understanding that there are just holes. And so some of those holes, well, they may surprise you. They've certainly surprised me. But one of them is that I have had a head injury, and in 1995, I miraculously survived a traumatic brain injury that should have left me dead. And then, even if it wasn't dead, should have left me severely mentally impaired for the rest of my life. And thanks to God and certainly miraculous intervention in His part and the prayers of many people I didn't even know, and I was an atheist at the time, but I survived and I recovered and I was able to be restored and redeemed to a place where I can now at least have a conversation with you and walk through life. And I ignored some of the other symptoms, the problems that brain injury brought to my life. I have a tough time remembering small details. I can remember the big pictures. I can have a great conversation with you, and if I don't have context, which is the setting that the conversation was in, I'll meet you the next day and I feel like I know you. Where have we met before? And you're like, oh, at church. I'm like, oh, yeah, because now we're at the grocery store. And it doesn't connect necessarily. And so that's one of the really interesting places. But there's a lot of little small details, subtle symptoms that have definitely been a part of my life. And short-term memory is one of those things. And there are other areas that the traumatic brain injury has affected me. But in that is a tolerance. And so I'm working on all those issues. There's other stuff I want to share, but more importantly, let's focus on you right now. Let's focus on what it is that you need to look at. What are the components that you need to practice to prepare the ship for getting underway? And sometimes it's not about all the stuff you think about yourself that is the important stuff. Who I am, the ship that I am, is not based on my own personal assessment. What I'm going to be doing in the next couple weeks here is getting out there and doing some interviews, asking others what they think of me, because perhaps the stuff I think about myself has less to do with who I actually am than the people I engage with on a regular basis and what they say and think of me. That really is what counts. That's really who I am, because I could think I'm a great guy, but if everyone knows that Alex is a jerk, I guess it doesn't really matter. So that's one of the challenges I'm going to have for you this week. I'm not going to leave this video go for too long, but I wanted to have you think about, is your ship ready for the journey? Because all those pieces that I talked about yesterday, the components of preparing for the journey, certainly having the right charts, so you know what obstacles may lie ahead. Having the right gear. If you're a sailor, you need a sextant to navigate the stars. You need a compass that'll keep you on track so that you're not always off on various courses that aren't taking you where you need to go. You need some knowledge. If you're not a sailor, and I'm thinking not too many of you are here in Minnesota, but maybe you're in California listening to this, maybe you're in Jamaica, you need to know how to sail. And so all the lines, the types of sails, the rigging that you'll need, those are all things you'll need to pick up for the journey. But if the ship isn't seaworthy, then it's all for naught. And so we need to patch some holes, perhaps. Maybe we need to build some pieces that aren't there. And there'll be things we'll need to prepare before we leave port. And maybe there'll be things that'll be prepared while we're at sea. Because, we don't have to just wait for the door handles to be finished before we get underway. But we can work on those and know that they need to be finished before we get to port or on the journey. And maybe we can enlist the help of others. So who I am is the possibility of humility. Serving others with a servant's heart, knowing that I am no better, but that I am moving forward every day to make myself to submit to the God who made me, and serve others with the skills He's given me. Today, make it a great day. The question I leave you with is, what is your ship? If you looked at it, is it seaworthy? And what are the components of you that you need to understand and take some time to journey within? And that was, I think, a couple days quotes ago. The only journey is the one within. That was Rainier Maria Rilke. And I just want you to journey within, journey out, and ask others what they say the ship looks like. Have a great day. Let your light shine.